And welcome to that handicapping show at bloodhorse.com. I'm Tom LaMarra, joined by Pete Denk. And again, we're looking at 3-year-olds this weekend. 2 major races, the $1 million Wood Memorial at Aqueduct and the $1 million Santa Anita Derby at Santa Anita Park. They're both at 1 1/8 miles, and they both offer the winner 100 points on the road to the Kentucky Derby. One race has a standout. The other race appears a little bit more open. And we're going to start with the Wood Memorial. I think that there is a standout, but Pete thinks otherwise, and he's going to explain why he likes another horse outside of Verrazano in the Wood.
Actually, I agree with you. Verrazano is 4-5 to win this race.
All right.
But when we're picking these races on Thursday, we're trying to anticipate value.
Right.
We're not going to make a lot of money betting 4 to 5 shots in the long run. But Verrazano is the most likely winner. He is extremely fast. He is a physical beast. He has been, all the superlatives thrown at him. I think he deserves. He is stretching out further in distance here, an extra 16th, and going 2 turns again. I thought his Tampa Bay Derby run was good. I didn't see him settle the way I would like to see a horse settle when we're talking about winning at 10 furlongs. This is 9 furlongs. He deserves to be the favorite. He's going to get hammered at the windows. My only use for him is to hook a long shot underneath him, or perhaps use him in a multi-race wager. Like I was saying, trying to anticipate value here, I've landed on El Nawi. He is a street sense colt out of the Dam of To Honor and Serve, a very good graded stakes winner, I believe a graded 1 winner. And El Nawi has only raced 3 times. He's run faster each time he's run. And his last race, he finished 3rd in the Gotham through a pretty choppy ride. And I like the jock switch today. He's going from Channing Hill to Eddie Castro. And Eddie Castro is a rider I've always liked. He was rank at points in the Gotham. He was checked a bunch of times. It just wasn't a very good energy distribution. I think El Nawi can run better today. It was also a really wide trip. He should be double-digit odds, I believe. So he's an interesting horse to me. We need to also talk about a couple others, including Vijack and Normandy Invasion. Do you have any views on either of those?
Well, Normandy Invasion, I think, he's probably primed for a much stronger effort than last time.
Agreed.
In the Risen Star, which was his first race of the year. He made up a lot of ground in that race. And he shipped to the Palmettos Training Center right after that, where he has been with Chad Brown. Ships up north, and has raced at Aqueduct on the main track at Aqueduct, which this race is on, and he's run extremely well. Yeah. So I would expect him to move up. Having watched Verrazano in the Tampa Bay Derby, I don't think this is the time to bet against him, so I'm not going to. I think you have the right approach is to hook him up with some longer shots, and I would think Normandy Invasion may end up the second choice, but still, he may be 6-1 or 8-1 or something like that. So.
Yeah, I was thinking he's more like 4 or 5-1 here, but if he's 8-1, I can get interested because if Verrazano stumbles, I do think Normandy Invasion or Vijack can win this race. I like Normandy Invasion a little bit more based on his 2-year-old form and the fact that he's going to move forward here. He lost a few lengths at the start of the Risen Star and then got a really wide trip. He can definitely improve on that run. Vijack's never lost.
That's correct.
I don't think I've ever picked him to win. He's a nice horse. He's another with a really good pedigree too, stretching out a little further. He makes sense. I'm not going to try to beat Verrazano with what I think is going to be a 4 to 5-1 shot that doesn't have that great of a chance to beat him. As far as how to play El Nawi, there's 2 ways to go here. You can bet him across the board. You can weight your place and show wagers heavier. Because I don't love El Nawi to win this race, but I think the best way to play a long shot like this is to play him underneath those 3 favorites, obviously going with Verrazano heaviest because that's going to be the lowest payout. And I'm just going to try to get El Nawi in the trifecta or the bottom half of the exacta for the most part.
All right. That's the Wood at Aqueduct. The Santa Anita Derby attracted a field of 9. Kind of interesting race because we have 3 horses in here from the Bob Baffert barn.
Yeah.
So it's always a little bit tricky when you play one. I mean, you're almost obligated to use the other ones in some fashion. At least that's how I do it. But of the 3 horses, I think Flashback is my pick of those 3. I thought he ran a really strong race in the San Felipe. I thought he should have won, but he didn't. But he grabbed the lead in the stretch, and he kept running. And quite frankly, The early pace was a bit too fast, and I would expect it not to be that way. What's interesting about Flashback, though, is that he drew the rail, and he has some speed, so he would go. One of the other Bafferts, Super 99, is a speed horse from the outside. And then, of course, in between those two, you have Golden Sense, who likes the front end. So I don't envision what happened last time happening again, but the one hole could be tricky here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they want to send this horse. The jock switched to Gomez, who to me is so much better on getting horses to close with a rush than he is to be riding speed horses. I don't think that's the plan with this horse, especially with all the speed in this race. You could be right, though. They may have to feel like they have to send to hold their position. I wouldn't send the horse. He's borderline, he can pick up a minor check here and probably qualify there for the Kentucky Derby, and I think that's the goal with this horse. So I'm expecting Flashback to kind of be a mid-pack tactical run here,
well,
and
that would be
Gomez
good.
trying
That
to
would
get him
be
to
good.
finish. Now, who knows what
would be
happens
good.
when the gate opens. We should talk about Here the Ghost also. He did win the San Felipe. It was a really odd race.
Very
As
much
you
so.
mentioned, Flashback moved into a very hot pace, and I didn't really think Here the Ghost was going anywhere until Tis a Minister, a really deep closer, came up outside of him, and then those two just come flying. Here the Ghost wins the race. He looked great doing it. Kind of an odd performance, though. He was getting, I believe, 4 pounds from Flashback, and he had the race flow in his favor, so I'm not terribly excited about betting Here the Ghost here. I think Flashback's the most likely horse to move forward here. I don't love the value at 9-5 on the morning line, though.
Yeah. All right. So who would you play other than or use other than Flashback?
I think Power Broker's a little bit interesting. He's the other Baffert that you mentioned, and he gets Rafael Bejarano. He's coming in off a layoff. Ran a huge race in the front runner stakes last fall at Santa Anita, and I think he's probably also going to look to sit just a little bit off the pace and make a move. I played Tis a Minister at 12-1 last time in the San Felipe. He ran well for me, but he was getting weight there, and he got a perfect pace set up. It's a little bit hard for me to take him back because now he's going to get bet more.
And ridden in his last 2 starts by Gomez.
Yeah, and he jumps on. So
Who
the
now
jockeys
jumps
are
on
moving all over the
Flashback.
place in this race. I don't love this race from a betting standpoint.
No, but
it should be a
it
great one to
interesting
watch.
to watch for sure. So those are the top 3-year-old colt and gelding races this weekend. Also, this is opening weekend of the Keeneland Spring Meet, and there is a field of 14 plus 2 also eligibles entered in the Grade 1 Ashland, which is a very intriguing race. However, we're out of time. We'll catch up with Keeneland another time. For Pete, I'm Tom, and again, thank you to Briss for the past performances. This has been That Handicapping Show. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.